Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. So I've talked many times about corruption within the military. I've talked about a lot of the things I'm going to cover now, but it looks like it's really coming out. So remember how I've said that when someone brings up a truth, leaks it out, it opens a door for others. So it's like that door, gets kicked open and somebody else kicks it, shines a light in there, nothing happens. So other people are like, nothing happened. So more people come, shine lights, and more information comes out. So we need to basically um, go through our military and cleanse it, right? There's some problems within our military, and they're being exposed, right? So I've said that there are secret groups in the military. They've been there for a long time, right? For a very long time. Drug trafficking, human trafficking. Uh, this is not anything new, but it's starting to come to a head. When I was in Afghanistan working for the CIA, we knew the Taliban had been very much involved in drug trafficking, and that when we came in, we took that away from them. Well, who do you think picked that up? The US. The US wanted that, just like the US wanted it in Vietnam, right? So we can see these massive drug spikes during time frames where there's wars and so forth or conflicts. Look down in South America, the cocaine that was coming up from South America, all the Colombian cartels and all that stuff. We were going against them, and of course they're flying them right into Mina Airport, where the Clintons, Bill Clinton was the governor, and so the CIA was running it through there. The CIA ran it from Vietnam through San Francisco and other places. From Afghanistan, the CIA ran it through Cuba and in. So Cuba, a lot of people think that Cuba was basically communist, and no, the CIA controlled Cuba. They controlled everything in Cuba, and they kept the people down, they kept the people dumb, kind of like what they love to do to the United States. So, and that's what they're trying to do, quite frankly. So we have to defeat the CIA. The CIA is a criminal organization. It is one of the biggest mafias in the world, and not as big as uh, the Jesuits. So the Jesuits are the biggest in the world, and then you have varying levels, because they're a mafia. The drug cartels down in South America, which we're seeing the biggest cartel leader is Venezuelan Maduro. So we just recently put a $50 million bounty on his head. Now we're starting to go down to the Caribbean. President Trump has asked Sheinbaum, Mexican president, hey, we want to start going after cartels. And she's like, no, no. They will kill me. Right? So she's not actually saying that outwardly, but that's the deal. They will kill her, right? They put her in power and they will kill her if she gets out of line. So we've seen that. I saw that when we went into get Noriega in Panama, when I was the SEAL Team 6 Panama invasion. We started to see that was all drug related, right? CIA drug related, right? So the criminals basically have to be taken down, and we're starting to see now through. I just saw recently there was a Alex Jones. He had a guest on. I think remember his name. Billionaire. Anyway, this guy's talking about how the head of the CIA, the seventh floor. It's always the seventh floor of the Pentagon, seventh floor of the CIA, seventh floor of the NSA. Some kind of little thing going on there with that number 7, right? So seventh floor of the CIA, the headquarters and so forth, they're involved with the CIA, and they're the ones that are basically controlling all of the elections around the world. Now I saw that when I was in Afghanistan. I was like concerned that the the baddies would get back in power because there was more of them. So you would think that they were going to get back in power, but I was told by the head of the CIA station chief there, is like, no, we've got this. So I was like, oh, you're controlling the vote, okay. So I was like, wow, good thing they don't do that in America. So you know, we've seen this corruption in a lot of different ways, and it runs deep through a lot of different organizations. But now we're going to start to see the CIA Mars jump room. Yeah, so there's all kind of you can go down all kind of rabbit holes. Max Monroe, definitely. So let me highlight that. That's a good one. So the CIA Mars jump room. So we have so many things, so many different levels. Now, I can tell you from experience, if you start to go into their alien side of things, Majestic 12 will put a bounty on you and take you out, right? So fortunately, I didn't get taken out, but so I've learned the hard way, right? So I backed off and I just revealed a little bit here and there, rebuilt my life after they destroyed it and tried to kill me several times. So you can't go down some of these rabbit holes, but now we're going down the rabbit hole that there is massive involvement, even at the highest levels. Tier 1 is basically anti-terrorist units like Delta and SEAL Team 6, which I was SEAL Team 6. I remember we worked with Delta. I love Delta guys are great. They're like us, you know, highly professional. You know, we kind of, you know, elbow each other and joke each other every now and then, but there's still that professionalism. So it's just sad to me to see that there is, you know, seems to be some very dark elements that are happening and dark members that are happening in the Delta, and that's being exposed. So is it happening in SEAL Team 6? I don't know. I can't tell you. I haven't been in SEAL Team 6 in a very long time. I don't talk to those guys anymore. Occasionally I run into a guy, SEAL Team 6 guy, but you got to remember, we're all very, very secretive, right? I'm a rare, very rare person out here revealing. So drug trafficking and U.S. Special Forces. So this is going to be basically where we're going to like focus. So if you believe the military is above board and there's no way that they could do any of this type of stuff, then maybe this isn't the show for you. But if you're someone that wants to learn and see the bigger picture of what's going on, because this dark side of the military is also controlling our ascension, controlling us getting our country back, controlling our capability of influencing the world. Because if America goes down, the world goes down. So we have these elements within the military that are very dark, very, very negative. I've talked about this for a long time, how there's a whole different organization out there that's running the stuff, guys, right? And I'm gonna try my best to point that out to you. All right, so drug trafficking in U.S. Special Forces. Journalist Seth Harp. So he did a show with Tucker Carlson. I'm gonna give you a little bit of that where he's talking. It's very revelatory. You're gonna want to go watch that if you want to go down this rabbit hole. This is quite a rabbit hole to go down, but very informative. It's something that we have to disclose. We have to uncover, because this is information war. So if you disclose information on a good level, like we're trying to do, then it collapses all this stuff. There doesn't need to be any kinetic activity. It's just like exposed. And these guys that are doing evil, they're like, oh, I won't do evil anymore. I'll go over and do the right thing. And really, a lot of times that would happen, right? Not every time, but with a lot of these people, you know, they just do it because everybody else is doing it. They, you know, get some kind of benefit from it, whether they get some of the drugs, whether they get cash from the drugs, which I'm sure they're getting, or whatever they're getting, right? Sex, whatever they're getting, right? You get whatever you want when you're involved in this stuff. All right, so President Trump recently threatened to use U.S. Special Forces to fight drug cartels in Mexico. So what does Scheinbaum say about that? I'm going to show you in a second. Scheinbaum is not so good about that, right? Scheinbaum has said, no, I'm not on board with that. So here she is right here. Let's see.
Now, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says she is opposed to the U.S. military conducting operations in her country targeting drug cartels. Now, the comments were made in response to reports confirmed by U.S. officials that President Trump has directed the Pentagon to prepare options for the use of U.S. military force against cartels that have been designated as foreign terrorist organizations by his.
All right, so by doing that, he's taken away a lot of the cartels. The cartels are also involved with us, obviously. There were cartels in Vietnam. There were cartels in Afghanistan. The biggest cartels in the world are in Afghanistan, right? Uh, it's insane. I thought that, hallelujah, we came in here and we stopped out this Taliban, and one of the big benefits is we stopped out the drug war. No, they use the military again to start to run and take over that operation and start to run into America. Remember, we had a massive opium problem in the United States shortly after we went into Afghanistan. Right, so that's what it was from. And I know people. I've talked about this for well over a decade now. I know people are somewhat getting it, all right? But this is a bigger picture where you're seeing not just some guys that are running drugs, but you're seeing it all the way up the chain of command, right? And I knew that was going on. They weren't in my chain of command because I was hunting terrorists, but there's another compartmentalized. They love to use the secretive stuff, guys. That's the way they can hide their operations. So that's one of the reasons why they built all these intelligence agencies, so they could hide all the corruption within these intelligence agencies. This is our box. Don't come over here and get in our box, or you could go to jail for getting in our box and disclosing stuff. And that's how they keep people out of these different intelligence boxes. So it's all secretive. You can't go into them unless you're authorized. So if you see something, you can't say something, right? And if you do, then you can face criminal charges and go to jail, or like we're finding out now, you could be killed, right? So a lot of these guys. So this one journalist is talking about how there's been 24 homicides on Fort Bragg. On Fort Bragg, 24. And he says he could be, one or two on either side of that, but that's what he's been able to, collate and get information. Because of course, a lot of times this stuff is like, again, it's buried. It's buried. It's secretive. It's a Delta guy that was killed. Ooh, lock it down. Lock it down. Secret, right? So he's part of a homicide. He's part of drug trafficking. He does drugs. A lot of people within his organization do drugs, and all the way up to his chain of command are involved in it. Wow. So this is all being exposed. All right, so let's jump down this rabbit hole a little bit more. I got a lot for you today. I got, like always, I got some more for you. It's going to blow your minds open. You're not going to like it, but I've been trying to reveal this stuff for decades, right? I've been trying to reveal 9/11 for decades, for 25 years, quarter century. All right, so and I have been right from the time that the buildings crashed, right? I was revealing. So the new American fellow, Seth Harp, found that members of the U.S. military elite that Trump wants to deploy have actually collaborated with cartels and narco trafficking schemes. So you're sending in the criminals to fight the criminals. It's not going to work out, right? So this is one of the reasons why we have to disclose this stuff and clean up this mess, and then make sure everybody's on the right side of this. It can happen. I was on the right side. Most of the guys I work with and the teams were on the right side, right? There were some that got off track, and usually they went away. We didn't let them stay in our organization. So here's the book, The Fort Bragg Cartel, Drug Trafficking and Murder in the Special Forces. So Harp investigates a string of unsolved, because it gets buried, murders at America's premier special operations. So I'm going to show you how this stuff is being, buried. And when you start to reveal this stuff, then you get killed. And I'm going to show that. So you guys might remember Pat Tillman. So I said Pat Tillman, the football player, I said almost right from the beginning, because I had been in Afghanistan. I knew the drug situation there. I knew how heavy duty people were involved in moving that stuff and involved in all this stuff. So when Pat Tillman was killed, I was like, that's very suspect. And at first they covered it over. He was killed in a firefight. And I was like, that's really a strange firefight for him to be killed in. It doesn't sound right to me. I bet he was killed. And then eventually it came out that he was shot in the back by one of the American weapons. So some of his own people killed him. So they called it friendly fire, but they didn't say that until later. They started to reveal that. And this is where McChrystal, General McChrystal and General Flynn and all those guys are involved in all this stuff. So I've been revealing this stuff for a long time. Now, Michael Hastings, who was the author, the Rogue Generals or something like that. I'll bring that up. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. I just want to give you the bigger picture of what's going on here. So Michael Hastings basically revealed that. Of course, Michael Hastings, his Mercedes, which is an extremely safe car. I've driven Mercedes in combat zones that were armored, and they work very well. Mercedes, BMWs, because we know there's been other people that have died in fiery crashes, like Michael Hastings, like actor Paul Walker, right? So I think he was in a Porsche or high-end BMW or something, hit a tree, it blew up and burned up. Just like Michael Hastings' car, hit a tree, blew up, and he burned up. So, and heck, anyone, she hit a house, right? And it burned up, but she survived. They showed her being wheeled out on a gurney, and she sat up, and they pushed her back down, and then later she dies in a hospital. Now, Paul Walker, was involved in exposing child trafficking, right? And Heck was about ready to reveal a movie as well. And so there's all of this stuff, guys. All these people that are involved in all this stuff that die. So who was that one singer? Bennington, I think it was. Bennington. Chester Bennington. So Chester Bennington, he dies, and then there was another lead singer that died. Both of them were doing a movie on, because both of them had been, I believe, child pedophilia stuff. So they're revealing stuff on that, and they died very mysteriously. So this stuff is ongoing. See how big and how powerful these people are. They can kill these people off if they get out of line, right? They tried to kill Mike several times. He's gotten out of line, but somehow the angels protect me, I guess. All right. Thank you, angels. All right. Attitude of gratitude. Always remember, be thankful for when you get saved. All right. All right. So how does corruption start? How did it get so deep? How did it happen so much? So he goes down a rabbit hole. He says, I learned in December of 2020, 2 special operations soldiers had been found murdered at a remote training range in Fort Bragg. All right. So he goes in, he talks about that, gives the details on that, gives the details on both of these guys. One of the guys was like, he was like within, retiring, and they kicked him out of the military. He was a warrant officer, and they kicked him out because he was so corrupt. They finally was like, "You're not even going to get retired. We're not going to be associated with you." So they kicked him out, but they didn't, convict him of anything. So this guy's a hitman in the military, and he's a warrant officer, and he's involved in like drug trafficking with the cartels. And we're not talking like, just like little paper, little baggy dime stuff. We're talking like kilos of heroin and opium and cocaine and all that kind of shit. So I guess all the soldiers were doing it too. We're using these drugs. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how deep, how bad it is. All right, so here's the book. It'd be kind of cool to get this guy on. We probably have a good conversation. All right, so I could talk stuff because I got the Special Forces background. He needs that. He needs somebody to talk that. The Fort Bragg cartel, drug trafficking, and murder in the Special Forces. Because he keeps talking about this the SEAL teams and stuff like that. So he's a little bit off track on some of that stuff. I don't want him to give us too bad a name, right? So I want to clean some of that stuff up. So because there is some of that, he wasn't in Special Forces. But that doesn't mean he doesn't know the military, which he does. He served in Iraq. I think he was like deployed for like 500 something days. So and I look at I was like, that's a drop in the bucket. How many times I deployed, not only in my SEAL career, but in combat zones as a contractor for the State Department and the CIA, mostly CIA, right? So I would be gone like, pretty much 5 to 7, sometimes as much as 300 days a year involved in this stuff. So I'm in and out of combat zones. So they're talking about how one of these guys was in combat zones. He did 12 deployments. It's like, and that messed him up. Yeah, that happens. But I did the equivalent of like 5 times that. Right. So I'm okay. So, all right. So let's listen to some of this stuff that this guy, talks about. It's pretty it's blowing the cover on this stuff. I've been trying to do this for a long time, and I'm glad this is coming out, right? So yeah, this is on Tucker Carlson. It's 1 day ago it came out, and it's already got almost 4.5 million views. This is blowing up. You're gonna want to watch this. You listen to this, and it's like wow. I'm going wow. So I know you guys are just going to be like super wow. All right, let's listen a little bit.
You must have spoken to people they knew, their friends. Mm-hmm. What is the prevailing theory among people who were there? I can't say that anybody purports to know for sure, but I would say the most common reflexive answer that you get from folks is that they think that they were murdered by elements of Delta Force, either rogue elements of the unit or the command itself. Now, I want to be very careful. Come on. I want to be very careful and say that.
All right. So even the command itself. So now he goes on and talks about that. For me, I would be like, what? Like all the way up to, and I worked